Chairman of Ways and Means yield for a few questions?
Yes, I will.
Chairman, this part of the budget's got a lot of wonderful aspects and a lot of tax relief, and frankly, I greatly appreciate the efforts of this House, the Senate, and the Governor for recognizing the need to protect the taxpayers, and I thank you. I thank the efforts everyone has made to come together and bring about those compromises so that we can start bringing the relief that the taxpayers deserve and have earned. Unfortunately, not everyone gets that relief because of a couple of technicalities. They may be small in terms of the budget. Sir, did you realize that in some cases, staying under the tax cap is impossible for some municipalities because of the hard work that they do and the responsibilities that they need to accomplish? Has anyone brought that to your attention, sir?
No, but I know that, as I said before, we're basically saying that if you have you have a good-hearted intention to try to accomplish it, and there's a reason why you can't, which is a real reason, we won't hold you to it. We didn't lock it in stone. We made it so that everybody should be eligible if they try. Now, if it's because they went out and bought a big, shiny new truck and this, that, and other thing, and that's why they can't do it, they may not make it. But if it's because a building is falling, you got to rebuild it, all of that, then we're ready to support it.
Is there still room? Is there still line items in the budget that would allow those municipalities that have to pierce the cap for the good reasons you described to still be saved so their residents would not be affected and would still get the full check?
I don't know the answer to that question.
Well, we need to look at the case of the village of Babylon. The village of Babylon is one of these quaint, beautiful locations on the south shore of Long Island. You may be familiar with it. A waterfront community with lots of history. It's run by very responsible people, a wonderful board, Mayor Ralph Scordino, who's an exceptional elected official, and they got a chance to prove themselves when the largest storm in history hit Babylon. Yeah. They've got 12,000 residents, not 12,000 homes, 12,000 residents. 3,000 homes were wiped out, destroyed, or greatly affected. And the village, as I assume you would agree, and that'll be my next question, I assume you would agree it's the responsibility of a municipality to come to the rescue, to remove floating docks that crash inside homes, to remove trees that are blocking the roads, falling on live wires. That's their job, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it's a rightful expenditure to spend the kind of money that's needed to lift those trees, take that storm damage out of the way so emergency vehicles can get through. And by the way, talk about heroes. The fire department was waiting in waist-deep water with cracking wires, live wires all around them, but went in when everyone was trying to run out. Real heroes, just like the people like Mayor Scordino and the workers of the village of Babylon, which frankly is much like so many other villages across the width and breadth of downstate and Long Island. So they've got these 12,000 residents who deserve tax relief, just like all other New Yorkers, right?
Yeah.
But because they've had to spend well over $1.2 million, 1.2 has not been refunded to them yet, of their $9 million budget, an additional 1.2, they can't get in under the tax cap. It's just too big a nut, way too much money to be able to stay within the tax cap, even though their intention, their efforts, their number crunching is to stay within the tax cap. They can't, and they're being penalized for doing what you and I agree, and everyone in this room agrees, is the responsibility of that municipality, right? So what can we do for them?
Again, that is not relevant to this election. This is, again, doing work that has to be done. You know, I got some problems in my district. I'd like you to come and help me with those.
But you know me, sir, I will.
But now, to be serious, It would strike me that, because I think I heard in the radio yesterday, was it yesterday, today? I forget what today is. Today is Monday. It was Sunday. And I
Monday,
think our
March
sen-
31st, last day of the budget year.
I think the senator was on the shore, and I thought I saw you in the picture, or was it, even though it was the other senator, I thought I saw you in something recently. But it had to do with giving money from the federal government or getting money for the federal government, because I know we've been a little slow, and especially in Long Island, from what I've been reading, has not been as fast as it should be. But there is money coming there from the federal government, and that's why we have the two numbers in our bill, because that counts as our federal money. But at the other hand, it would strike me that if they were to make an application and say exactly what you said, and I have no way to make it happen, I would assume they would not be, it would not be held against them that they were doing all the things they had to do, and at the same time to make them eligible for it. But that's not my decision, it's somebody else's. But
Just for clarity, Chairman, are you saying that there's some language in this bill?
No, I'm saying...
Okay. We're talking about what would be nice if it happened.
No, I'm saying that because the way we wrote it, we didn't write it that strongly. We didn't lock it in. We made it rather soft. So I would think if you came up with a real argument, and that sounds like a real argument to me.
It sure is, sir.
I think that there would be a possibility. I think that would happen. I can't promise it. I don't know it for sure, but you know, as you describe it.
So it's something we could do, if not today. If they can't get the help today, it's something that could be done in an after-the-fact cleanup bill with the help of our senators and the good people in this room, so that we could revisit this. They would be able to get the full tax rebate check.
No, I don't think this requires a legislation. I think it's a discussion with the Board of Election, with the board and the people that are the ones that read this, and to make this request and point out that had you not had to cut trees down, build sidewalks up, that you would have been within your 2% growth, and you'd like you to appreciate that. That would get you into the argument. Then we'll see what we can do.
Okay, good.
And when I say see, I don't mean me.
No, I know that, Chairman, but speaking for the majority, what you're representing today, that it is the intention of this bill to protect every Long Islander.
Not the intention. It may be the outcome of it. See, that's why I don't want to answer these questions, because you're going to walk in and dangle my name, and they're going to say, who the hell is here, and who cares? So we're not.
No one would say who cares, Denny Farrell, because you are exceptional and you're helpful.
I'm saying if that's and you've probably done that many times, where you've gone in and you've been able to get people to do what they should do because it's the right thing to do.
Because it's the right thing.
And it is the right thing.
So it is the right thing to do to exempt out the costs that a municipality like the Village of Babylon has to spend. It is the intention of this body and
now
this
you've
legislature.
done it again. You get me back into answering questions I won't answer, because that is not a question for me to be answering.
You don't have to answer it, sir. All you have to do is say yes.
No, I'm not going to say yes. I'm going to say I don't know what you're talking about.
Is it the intention of the state of New York to do right by the people of this state?
It is always the intention.
Okay. Is it the intention of this
we
bill?
As members are.
Is it the intention of this bill to provide as much tax relief as can be humanly provided for those municipalities, sir, for those municipalities who are working hard to stay within the cap, even though they might have to go above it for very exceptional purposes, like...
I'm not going to respond to that one. I have told you as much as I can tell you without getting into trouble myself.
Well, nobody wants to put anyone in trouble. If anything, we want to relieve municipalities from trouble. And we know that every good person in this room wants to protect its people. And we know it's the job of a municipality to protect its residents from tremendous natural disasters, none worse than the Superstorm Sandy. So when a municipality has to spend $1.2 million, which has yet to be reimbursed, and they have to have a balanced budget, right? You would agree they have to have a balanced budget.
I don't know their rules and regulations, so I can't answer.
We would like every municipality to have a balanced budget. I know you would say yes to that. And I know you would say yes, that we have to do the right thing. You just told us that.
Yeah.
So I will bring the two together to make the assumption that in the process, we want to make sure that when these extraordinary costs, for only those costs, not buying the new truck, not buying the shiny new office building, none of that at all, just the capital improvements that must be done, not want to be done, but absolutely must be done. If you have a bulkhead that collapses right alongside that beautiful town dock and parking lot, you can't park your car there. You can't safely go there.
I have that in my district.
That's your district. So we share that issue.
I haven't seen a dollar yet.
And that's
Okay.
part of the frustration that you understand, that I understand, and so many people in this room understand. So I suggest and request that it is the intention of this bill and this House to make sure that we make certain exceptions to include in this bill.
Now, you made a jump and a half again, and nothing this room is saying or doing, including what I'm saying and doing, has anything to make that statement.
But it's reasonable that you want to
You'd
protect
like
your
to wish
community.
it to be that way.
And I'm not doing this to be argumentative. I'm doing
I
it
understand.
because I want to do the right thing, and I know you do. And I know everybody in the House does. So what I'm asking, is it reasonable?
No, don't see, and those reasonable questions I'm not answering. I try to be reasonable, but I won't answer questions on it. And
Okay.
you're trying to get to a position where you can walk into a room and throw out a whole list of names of people that have said this, that, and that. And none of us have the ability to change anything. None of us have to. What I suggested to you is an opinion, not a reality. So when you go and you talk on behalf of your constituents, I hope it comes out as I said. But my name is not going to do anything about it.
I understand that. That's not where I'm trying to go. I've spoken to people in the governor's office. I've spoken to the governor himself. I've spoken to folks here in leadership in the Assembly and folks in leadership in the Senate.
Yeah.
I talk about this subject as long as they'll listen, and I keep talking
You know,
about it.
You're fighting for your district. I understand.
And I thank you. And all I ask is that we get on the record, not to throw names around, not to play games, but when a community like the Village of Babylon, and that name can be replaced by so many other names, because whether it was the Great Storm Lee, Irene, Sandy, the floods that this state has incurred, there's been so much pain and hurt. We don't want to further hurt those same residents by reducing their property tax freeze, that property tax relief, that everybody is in agreement. I know a lot of people are going to be voting for this bill. I'll be voting for it, and I'm sure so many people will be voting for this bill because we want to protect our residents. And who more than those people who have been devastated by natural disasters? So I just want to get on the record, Chairman Farrell, the fact that we're all in agreement that if we can do something to include these communities who have had to spend far more than they could possibly spend to stay in the cap, to do what's right, to protect their homeowners, to clear those trees, to open those streets, just the bare bones basics, that's a reasonable thing that we want to walk away from this debate with, just to give them the toehold. So if they have to go into court or if they have to argue in any fashion to stay within the cap and get that relief, that we've, at least at the end of the day, done our job, taken on our responsibility and delivered for these people who have been just devastated, whether it's Long Island, whether it's upstate. The stories go on and on. I've heard stories from some of my great friends in this body whose parents' houses were wiped away when the river overflowed. And they sent me photos that just make you want to choke up. I know my own house had waves breaking in it for 7 hours, but it's not about me, and it's not about his parents. It's about the state and giving them an opportunity to get this done, whether we do it in a cleanup bill or not. And I hope that today's debate shows our collective intention to allow that to happen. Chairman, I thank you for your time.
All right.
On the bill, sir?
On the bill, Mr. Saladino.
Babylon is like so many other communities. The village, it's important in its history. the municipalities in the town of Babylon, who's led by some extraordinary leaders, in the village of Babylon. They've got a library district that's unbelievable, and it's run by some terrific people. Their fire department is exceptional. The list goes on and on. Their fees have increased. We just want to make sure that they're able to get the tax relief, even by exempting out those costs that cause them to pierce the cap to bring the remediations from the worst storm in the history of New York. Thank you.